Okay, thank you for joining us today to our webinar, Mobile Solutions for Agricultural Value Chain Finance. Before we get started, I would just like to say we're using a new platform, the WebEx platform. It's a very learning curve for everyone. What we would ask all the participants that have come to please keep your microphones muted throughout the entire webinar event this morning. This will help maintain the video. Also, in the bottom right-hand corner, you will see the chat box. You can communicate with us through that if you're having trouble either hearing or if you would like to send in questions during the webinar. You may know AgriFin aims to encourage learning about successful agricultural finance models through sharing of practical information and fostering a peer-to-peer exchange. Our web series is one way that we achieve this goal by bringing professionals from the banking sector to share their insights and experiences with you on specific products and services that are in their respective markets. Welcome Mr. Felix Masao, Chief Executive Officer of Moe. Now, Moe is a Kenyan company for profit that helps financial institutions penetrate the agricultural data collection, sharing that among producers, buyers, financial institutions, and other supporting services. Today, we'll share with us Agrilife, which is a cloud-based platform developed by MobiPay. The platform is being used by various actors in agricultural value chains in East Africa, and share with us how AgriFin benefits the value chains, the users of this platform, and highlight the outcomes that they've realized to date, and challenges also. Invited Pauline Gituga, Executive Officer from Century Microfinance Bank in Kenya, using the Agrilife platform, and she's going to share with us her company's experience today. To let everyone know how it will proceed, we'll begin with the speaker's presentation. First, we'll present the Agrilife platform, and then Pauline will follow him up. These presentations, I will facilitate a Q&A session with you. So please don't hesitate to write in during the presentation in the right-hand corner in the chat box your questions. We would ask you, there's an option to send your questions so that everyone can see it, not just to us, the facilitators. So if you can select that option in the chat box, we greatly appreciate it. Just to facilitate that Q&A. And I'd just like to apologize for not to be able, that you can't speak to us, but it's to economize on time and allow a large grouping of questions. So this is from the past, and we would continue with this practice. So what we'll do, I'd like to welcome Felix to present to us.
Everyone for joining us today. My name is Carl. I'm and I'm also a farmer. Now to what life and where we are now. The benefits to various players within the value chain, and I'll conclude handing over to one of our customers, Century Microfinance, to take over from there. As we're a 7-year-old for-profit company based out of Nairobi, our basically improve people's provision of technologies that and those trading in Africa. So with this, we have a focus in Africa and all the technologies that we are doing. Our focus is in Africa and in agriculture. Agrilife as a universal catalyst to make agriculture a profitable business. And then from our experience from the ground that agriculture farming is about breaking hard work, and within the chain wants to make a profit from half an acre or quarter acre of land. Aggregator, buyers, to institutions, everyone is asking, how can we make money of agriculture in sub-Saharan Africa being the biggest employers, the biggest contributor to sub-Saharan economies in terms of GDP. But in services, when you dig deep, there's a big gap now. Services that will make agriculture profitable, and the smallholder the farmer and the whole value chain of large can be to be farmer. So the three the diagram below this shows three key aspects of agriculture. We have two, and this is a data that you do realize. So you can make decisions. We have established, Agrilife has established data feedback mechanisms from the farm to the bank, which is not most to the various actors within the value chain to be and understand what's happening within the value chain. Collecting credible data. This range from staff data on the farmer is basically biodata, farm information, production information. Then the information, which is basically economic, into the value chain actors. These value chain actors could be buyers who want to know what's the anticipated production of a particular commodity in a particular area. Could be farmers who want to know what kinds of services in a particular area and who wants it. What's the profile of the farmers who are doing this? Who wants to use this data for policy decisions? Convenience to farmers to access services when needed, and after the mobile phone platform goes unlocking the potential within the farmer's value chain and the general ecosystem. Data Agrilife is currently in 3 countries: Kenya, Uganda, Zimbabwe. We have 110 profile farmers. One contracted. Well, when I mean 1.2 million contracted, these are the farm organizations who have come to say they want to move their database to Agrilife. They want to dive in their business processes to be able to serve their farmers better. This is farmer groups and 3 organizations. 3 banks, namely Rafiki Microfinance, Century Microfinance Bank. One insurance company which I'm glad to say signed up about 2 weeks ago, and mobile operator. We have facilitated in terms of both supply chain finance to the farmers and to the very have topped $50 million. We have started at about $3,000 per month, and we have now facing growth of about 50 last month's transactions. For January 2014, had topped $3.8 million. In your case, we have two organizations, so two organizations, uh, service providers, so that's a work in progress. There are no transactions yet. 1,200 farmers. We're working with the part and barley market in transactions yet. Thing when we're implementing and getting intersecting any new market, it is possible to understand who the farmer is and the availability and creation of data and make very clear. We drive conversations between the players that then result to actually real financial transactions. Right now just goes to show the Agrilife ecosystem in Kenya. From the left, the farmers or the services. With the case of suppliers of goods and services, we have two kinds of suppliers. Some that directly what we call production-based suppliers who provide products and services aimed towards increasing the production, and consumption-based service providers who would provide things like food that the farmer needs to eat on a daily basis, school, education and information. Financial institutions, then have the banks. The couple, we have partnered with a local credit rating bureau, and with Metropol is creating what specific scores. These credit scores that are derived from the data we are generating with the system, and these credit scores will then be made available to institutions to increase the speed and of the decision making process. Example of just a typical visibility. On the horizontal arrow is where Agrilife picks up the various data, the various sector players. For example, if we go from the number one, we register Agrilife, register Agrilife by their phone or by their group. When they sign on, they then upload the funds. Now, with services, good to mention at this time is we have seen that the depth of information on a particular farmer is very proportional to the amount which services can be delivered to him. The more the players are willing to engage him, and the faster they're willing to engage in art. In access is thing, but also the timeliness. If planting season and you're taking 3 weeks to make a decision, you find that goes towards properly. So time of in agriculture is just as key as the access. So on Agrilife, we also have trader suppliers. These are the service providers I had talked about. Well, participants within the agricultural value chain, and they also sign up to Agrilife as service providers. Farm go and request for services to grow their product. In case where it's smallholder farmer is at least two, he have a and involved in either one cash crop or in culture. In some cases, it's 2 to 6. By so doing, what Agrilife does is collecting by taking out the farmer to the various value, sorry, a holistic understanding of who the farmer is, and by understanding, banks will then be able to make quick decisions in understanding either the ability and the ability of the farmer to pay the true portfolio in terms of economic activity, and making this holistic profile institutions. We have seen financial institutions actually grow their agricultural portfolio 3, in sometimes 5 to 6 fold. Farmers receive inputs or credit to of seasonal and other crops. Go up and farmers and aggregate the crops and to the trader. Immediately takes the have an understanding of the financial that all the goods that has been delivered is factored so that can be able to meet their liquidity needs as a farmer, and then left to settle the financial institution. So the financial institution can be able to settle the farmers of the trader or the buyer. And a legal framework, there's a legal understanding that has been taken care of with all the sector players. They need for additional inputs, so crops, traders need more credit to go and buy crops. Now, providers and the SMEs that are involved towards servicing the farmers, and the engagement that is captured on Agrilife also enables the SMEs that are mainly have been very informal and cash-based to be able to build also a profile that can be used to leverage for access to credit in the also the need to stock up their produce, their soils. Farmers the cycle goes on, farmers aggregate crops and sell again to the buyer. The buyer settles the balance of the farm, pays the bank, credit the farmers with the balance. On automated environments to enable financial institutions to conduct very high volume invoice transactions, and liquidity to be injected into the value chain with the corresponding risk shifting to the corporate chain captain, such as the buyers or the ultimate destinators of the produce. Our earnings, having gone to 3 markets, is this considered a key. Hello, Valdez, I'm getting a lot of feedback.
We please ask all the participants to mute your microphones. We're getting audio feedback that is disruptive to the presenter.
Okay.
Maria speaking. Thank you. Maria, thank you.
All right, thank you. So this has shown that to get the start in any market is to start in a structured value chain. That in a cash crop, in some countries it could be cotton, tobacco. In Kenya it could be tea. Then remember from my slides I had said the farmer is diversified. So it would be the same farmer who's doing also doing tea, who's doing horticulture. So structured value chain. The next step would be to multiply in the participants. Farmer organizations to the farm. They are the whole value chain. Then these are the providers, finance, input service providers, insurance companies, network operators. Whose business goes towards selling their products to the farmers and acting as a support. This could also be advisors. Would then come in once you tie in the value chain. Started with fully collateralized transactions. These are transactions against delivery. forward contracts. So when actions and then those are handed for payments, banks then the farmers were then able to use their value chain and access to finance for other services. Then finance, uh, we have had the opportunity to present to our sorghum product in the sorghum value chain, and in the value chain that's in rabbits, and now we're getting into stevia. Have an inbuilt financial component in them, and insurance is coming to take care of the amenities. The net effect is that the financial institutions are then be able to loosen it to a large extent. The thing is to spread and scale. Once you have tied in the key, then you can be able to scale and model. This is of a World Bank presentation for rural development, whereby we found access to information, access to services, distribution networks, and because of using that platform, we have seen also banks innovate new business models. Also experienced banks lending farmers account with them who have never met them. Just the ability they have seen and the value chain that is tied and the undertaking by the various off-takers and the buyers. We have actually go use that give service to the customers. The pieces needed to improve his livelihood. For one to make a profit, there are two aspects you need to look at. One, reducing your cost of input and your cost of production, and maximizing your returns on your maximizing return on your produce. So sides whereby through the efficiencies within the system, efficiencies and the visibility is created. There's also we have seen farmers having lower cost to access finance and inputs, and for the services, they improved seed information on how to take care of their crop. We're also seeing improved productivity and thereby profit. So the access to key costs drives on the cost of production as well as increasing the productivity. Financial products made available that match the lifestyle, the life cycle of the farmer's activities. This could be credit, savings, and insurance. Institution innovating a savings mobilization plan on Agrilife, where they say for every kilogram of milk delivered, go towards savings for the next planting season. The track record of the farmer activity is used to facilitate the special identity and risk profile, based credit score. Well, taken care of our partner by Metro Analytics, and this data, the farmer then uses it more like you'd use a payslip if you're an employed person. You have to payslip, the bank understands who you work for, income, the stability of the company. In the case, we also established the example, the number of training farmers have gone through, and his experience as a farmer, he's been engaged in. Does he have a contract? Doesn't he have a contract? Does he sell to a structured market? So by tapping in information from all of these players, farmers coming in to to be able to access finance for reduced collateral requirements, faster decision turnaround times, lower interest rates due to reduced risk, thanks to improved visibility over the value chain. The farmer are this is also another diagram of the ecosystem. We have collectors and aggregators who are using Agrilife to, for example, record the transactions that are coming in, delivered, how much have they delivered. We have the buyers here coming in to view to see what kind of transactions are being requested on what services are the farmers requesting for them. The suppliers also use Agrilife to market their produce. For example, they can come to market their products. A service provider may say, I want to be able to target farmers in a particular area who are doing dairy. So provide put into the buyers and the financial institutions. These via his mobile phone and access and view the key services. Transactions originate from the farm are routed through Agrilife to the respective service provider. If access a request for finance, it would be routed to the buyer. If it's for inputs, this transaction would be routed to the relevant provider. If it's a request for market, it would be routed to the buyer who has expressed demand that the farmer is using. So Agrilife is very multifaceted. So we have two, I'll explain later in our business model, the farm organization side, and we have the supplier side. Actors we have, which is key. One of the key aspects to low access to sales in agriculture, the cost of doing business, because dispersion of the farmers have experienced this cost of doing business. In some cases, a financial partner who has put in 100 million to services, and they have not been able to. They did not include any additional overhead in serving or managing the customers. Over from a service provider side, improved ability like a platform, those new business models and the tailoring of products and services to suit the farmers at affordable rates. Such as service providers done we have value chain actors such as have banks pay the farmers on their behalf as they add onto the products to the market. Data, they're coming to ask up to and to inquire from us information about the farming community and leakages and shape by information for who benefits farmers value chain actors. There's a reduced cost of customer acquisition. At least we have a financial institution with us who will be able to go into more detail on this in my presentation. We have farmers and traders as well as customers. Acquisition, but there's also a lower cost of serving those customers. And finally, also have been to promote transition to more mixed practices that rate sustain capital to reduce the risks. So we've been helping the farmers and more mixed so they can be able to improve their cash flow and their ability to pay back ability. They can be able to financial institutions as it's used to facilitate the establishment of identity. Our Agrilife is provided as a software as a service solution. And the farmer of the farm organizations that Agrilife incur no charge. Service institutions act on a per transaction basis. So our financial institutions come in and say, I want to participate, I want to reach this kind of farmer in this particular, this is the profile of farmer I want. They will design their product into the system, made available to the farmers who fit. The financial institutions would also want to target the services or the SMEs who are involved in who are involved in supporting the farmers. Process, we have a contacting page with the service provider, farmer group, financial institution with the they use Agrilife, and then we have a service activation. Where we go, we want nucleus. A nucleus is what we call a small that makes those transactions and from scaling up. So small, and we have seen the taking place to volumes of transactions. The access to financial services is required of the African agriculture to reach its full potential. As a our key partners are the government of Kenya, who have recognized what we are doing. The government of Kenya Agricultural Department. We have who have come to support us to roll out Agrilife in Uganda. Be able to boost our and to scale application. We have a livestock produce association, society, and the Farmers Federation. We will scaling and to partner with you. Once this presentation, and at this point, my contacts are there. I'd like to Pauline Gibugu from Microfinance.
And good morning or good day all. My name is Pauline Gibugu, and I'm from Microfinance Bank. And just probably take you through our own presentation. And it may sound repetitive because colleagues have highlighted some of the issues that, or some of the benefits that we derive as an institution. But going through here, then understand why this has been very beneficial to us. Presentation now. I'll tell you a little bit about Century Microfinance Bank. Recently changed. We have been called the deposit-taking microfinance institution, but we're not a microfinance bank. A little bit about who we are. We are to provide our customers with the power to grow, and to be the financial services provider of choice in Kenya. Our goal is to provide unique, excellent, customer and accessible financial services with customers' dignity, improve their standard of living, and increase value for stakeholders. Include integrity, innovation, value, excellence. And we have is our motto, or what drives us is being the power to grow. The power is a plan that is intended to reflect, the growth of crops and the growth of animals and other agricultural practices where we see things actually growing. Institution.
Hello?
Yes.
This is Mia.
Yes, Mary.
Your presentation. Thank you.
All right. There we are.
No problem.
Okay. So I had just gone through our purpose, our vision, and our mission, and corporate values, and I was just saying that our motto is actually a plan that is intended to reach agricultural realities, because we want to primarily focus on agriculture and how to grow, reflect growth of crops, growth of animals, and then farmers the power to grow. Ours is aggregators and common interest groups, a lot of whom are actually found within the agricultural sector. Century at a glance, we were founded in 2000 and we received the deposit-taking microfinance license in October 2012. Hence, commenced our operations in October 2012. We have just been in operations for just over a year now. At the time, we have put on board 3,567, which is as January 2014, and is actually reflecting 31st January 2014. We had 1,746 female depositors and 777 male depositors. In terms of us, we have 875 active boards, of 159 are female and 409 are male borrowers. Deposits, we've rendered that in Kenya shillings, 67.3 million, approximately 792,000 US dollars. Loan balance as at again was 52.3 million Kenya shillings, which is 650 US dollars. These statistics is so that I can begin to paint a picture of where we are. We are actually a very young organization, keen on innovation and trying to do things a little out of the box from the stream microfinance. And our partnership with MobiPay has been the things that we have put of effort into, so we can bring into the market a different way of doing business. As we signed on to Agrilife in January 2013, just about the time when it was starting, and we got our license from the central bank. Had commenced discussions with MobiPay in 2012. We engaged in the platform around August 2013, and January and August for us was in the implementation to ensure that we've identified who we're working with and to have documentation that can sustain the relationship. Most of it is virtual or remotely remote access. So done with obtaining the payment guarantees from the aggregator clients within, and that was what the time doing. Choose Agrilife for us as a new institution with a relatively unknown brand. It would take much longer to get traction in the market. Also, towards agriculture, and agriculture has been associated with very high risk in terms of lending and credit, and hence a lot of institutions do not actually engage in agricultural finance. That perception of being very risky. So that like will work for us because we're able to provide services remotely. We only have 2 branches where we have our head office in Nairobi, one which is about 70 kilometers from Nairobi. Our acquisition costs were significantly reduced, and I think Felix also touched on some of these benefits to the financial institutions, but for us were some of the key drivers towards just putting effort in the partnership with and on the Agrilife platform. Time is reduced, and we'll share with you the numbers of what we're able to do. And for what you will see, it is not possible to probably grow a portfolio within the time that you will see from the figures. And so once the guarantee agreement, we went into the platform and to transact immediately. So also for us was greatly reduced in time for the pipelines available to us. And clients in different parts of the country without having a physical presence there, accomplishing our branch-based banking accomplishment so far. As I said, we began in August 2013, and when it was at 25.2 million Kenya shillings, which is about $296,000. That in August. Sorry, in August we had our loan book grow 46.7 million US dollars, which about $549,000 US dollars. So you almost double within 1 month double of our loan book. But remember, our loan book was funding at 88.6 million Kenya shillings, which is about $1 US dollars. And look at that trend. It's really not possible to do this if we are using the retail or the traditional microfinance model to grow the book to do sort of portions in such a short time. We don't hire any additional staff to accomplish what we have accomplished. We were able to use our existing personnel to grow the loan book, and our payment rate has been at 100% because of guarantees issued by the we had a very low client acquisition cost, so we were able to do business. People who were far away from us, and they were clients that we were serving. We had guaranteed repayment from the aggregators through the guarantee mechanisms. We have efficient and cost-effective services to the borrowers. The end borrowers are able to access their money in a very short turnaround period. We have been using innovation to reach who are far away from us without on the ground and interact with them. We have a series of several pipelines within Agrilife, so we're able to diversify our concentration risk and pick different actors in different value chains so that we can also just spread the risk a bit, and then greater coverage without infrastructure investment, that lower cost of doing business. We would want to see Agrilife grow and institutions such as ourselves and others. We have, of course, benefited quite immensely as a new organization. The data grows. We want to see our comprehensive view of scale farmers to allow better credit positioning. And I know that this is something that is a work in progress and somewhere that Agrilife with real-time or updating of client data as varies are made to the aggregators. So it would be good to view and see the consistency of the farmers in terms of when they are able to deliver and how they are able to deliver. Much better view of the farmers. Mobility has gone the extra mile to ensure the success of
this initiative. And these are some of the places that we had to go to get data. And these are some of the farmers that we were able to reach out to in their data on the Agrilife platform. So the sort of products that we're able to work around with the Agrilife, we actually got awards from the Banking Awards 2013, unique products for our clients' needs, and a lot of them was actually based on Agrilife. We've also been awarded by Africa's most influential women. I think it's just recognizing some of the things that we're able to do with, and this was by the CEO magazines from South Africa. I believe that everyone has a role to play. Various people will be logged in or tuned to this webinar, who can a role they can play, people who are able to see how they can come in and with institutions like Mobit, work with institutions like ourselves, and the services to the farm. I believe that we can achieve more, and there's much to be done. And being in Kenya, there's a lot of innovation happening in this space, and there's a lot more that can be achieved. People off the radar in the grassroots, and they can actually benefit from all the innovations that are happening. And I think just what we have outlined here today is an example of how farmers can actually get more out of the produce that they work towards, and they're able to get their payments on time, and that they're recognized for the work that they do. I think working regulated institutions also gives a state safety net for all the partners. There's confidence in dealing. I think it has already pointed out that the institutions so far who are on this platform are regulated by the central bank. Possibilities, I believe, are endless, and there is much we can do, and ideas that can help us to improve on what has already been done for the benefit of the small-scale farmer. Ultimately, the objectives of all stakeholders are met. So, with regard to just how we have Agrilife, and I think it is one innovation that will take us institutions into us where we can actively engage small-scale farmers, and yet without too much risk attached to it, and remove that perception that AgriFinancing is
Thanks for your perspective from the financial institution. In our series, we always, when we're presenting a new product or service, we try to bring in both perspectives. So it was very enriching to hear from you. There are several questions that have come in throughout both presentations. And I heard some, and I would also make a plea to our presenters to be as concise as you can and complete in answering your questions, so they can accommodate all of our participants' questions. To kick off, there seem to be a few questions about the style of farmer you're working with. Can you give us, this is to Felix, can you give us an average profile of the farmer in measuring impact on productivity, and how is this data available to the public? Are you that certain crops have more productivity increases than others? About the farmer. Then there was a question on why are you not charging the follow-ups for MobiPay? You could explain to us the transaction and how that's calculated for the cost that you're charging the actors in the chain. So Phil, I'd like you to answer those questions.
Now, the target of the farmer is they own some land up to 65 years. The small-scale agriculture and smallholder, it's that Kenya you'd find is considered a scale farm, but in Valley, a private farm is a very small farm. So, what we do is relative to where you are and what the farmer is in school, they aspire for better life security. Other groups or other community organizations may have medical insurance for them as their main source of income. On the monthly income would range from $20 and limited access to technology. Any access is mainly 200 devices. They should be price conscious. So, from a farmer perspective, that farmer and the farmers would range from in terms of income from $20 per month up. But also the other understanding that farmer has a lot of in from other sources because not farmer is diversified and of informal transactions. So these informal transactions can easily up his base with and the cost associated with transactions. The cost varies. Various transactions in the financial, it can range from 0.3% to 1%, the range of the cost. So for service providers, what we do is range the value based on the services. Not all transactions are this. For example, you may have financial transactions that are done, for example, station, others based on factoring, are based on type of transactions, each with its own. So it could range from 0.3% to 3%. With that have grown, this again also is the agricultural cultural production zone that the farmer is in. The crops that, for example, such as bananas, high frequency activities such as dairy and poultry, and it creates break down one information asymmetry. There's a lot within agriculture, and what we do is first break down the information asymmetry and conversations between the various sector players. The farmer would be able to say, I'm in central Kenya, I want to engage in aquaculture. And the government that was providing for example, or who is saying, I'm looking for farmers in particular areas. So we drive opportunities that and link the farmers to these opportunities. And link is not the end there. We also go the next step of financing farmers for these opportunities. So in terms of the mix is based on agricultural zones. There are high frequency crops and have those longer term cash crops or staple foods that take 3 to 6 to mature. Now, we have to make a decision. If you notice, our business model is the proverbial chicken and egg, where the bank or the farmer wanted the bank, the banks wanted the farmers to join. So we made a conscious decision to supply farmers so that then the financial institutions can come in. So services we are offering, we are not charging the farmers directly. if it's an interest cost, because of the reduced cost of doing business and the reduced processing fees from the financial institutions, those based on their rate of interest, then still a better service towards the farmer, more than what if where the financial institution went directly to the farmer. So because we had a choice to make as an institution, the chicken and egg scenario, so we subsidized the farm rate, and that has worked well.
On the data that you're collecting on that platform, could you please tell us how that is, declarative only from Agrilife, or does a third party objective control the accuracy you as you are interfacing with your clients, the financial institutions, the buyers, the aggregators, input suppliers? How do you guarantee the accuracy of that data in that you're collecting through?
Now, the process of screening data is multi-stage, where by the time finds into a platform, and for example, the farm does not belong to a farm organization, he can verify customer and verified farmer. Then, as the farmer contracts and is attached to a provider, such as, let's say, a buyer of produce, and I have X, a farmer now becomes no. So it's validated through various checks and balances. As the farmer later delivers produce onto the buyer, validates the produce and says, I have received this fund, and goes and pays that particular farmer. You then find there's full visibility. So it would start the view of the farmer become clearer. The transactions are along the value chain, because for if it's a farmer who has been given a contract to grow tomatoes, and the uptaker has an extension agent who's going to the farm to validate that these are doing good and using Agrilife to send over the tomato status of the crop on the farmer side. So as they go through the activities, you'll find there are those farmers who have visibility and they're what do you call it? I mean, they are fully visible along the valley because of the number of players who have validated and who have interacted with the farmer. And services, better priced farm services, who is not known. So the data moves from simple to, the various to complex to extreme data in backend, that now by peer-to-peer, you find there's validation, the self-validation within the value chain. So that's the accuracy of the data. We send out when getting into the financial institutions, they say that they'll take care of the validity of the data. So there are multiple checks and balances. There's a legal framework, and system-wise, as the farmer interacts and the touch point with the farmer who bought seeds or who healthcare or who accesses all the services, and also in some cases have to meet him, he has to present his ID, validated and cleaned up within the value chain. So
related to that topic, there are several questions about how the contracts are arranged over the value chain, how they're assigned, who sets up all of the legal contracts, because you said there was legal contracts between the sellers and the buyers and the buyers.
Sorry.
If you could clarify that for us.
The contract. The first contract, there are two kinds of contracts. First is the between the organization of the farmer, which is basically a contract. The farmers, the farm organization sign up a contract with Agrilife with pay to use the Agrilife service, and the agreement between the bank and the financial institutions. First, everyone who has attached onto Agrilife has a level of has a contract with us and form that data protection and all the intellectual property, the data integrity, and the farm organizations and the farm, and then they have an undertaking saying this data comes in, this is what we're going to do. So legal agreements within Agrilife. But I have to note that this is based in some, I mean, we have seen some cases whereby in insurance, the bank would be the primary policy holder with the financial institution, and taking the facility for the policy. So you'd have another contract between the policy holder and the insurer.
Thank you. Now I'd like to switch over to Century, Polly. There were several questions to you as the banker. What collateral required to advance this type of credit to your clients, and how this arrangement reliance on the requirements in your country? And then add on, are there any particular regulations that either help or have hindered your bank in using these quasi-collateral mechanisms? If you could speak to our audience, that would be great.
Thank you. I think one of the greatest advantages that we have as a microfinance bank is that regulations allow us to use what are called collateral substitutes in reaching to because we're supposed to be addressing the micro and the micro clients. So that what we have particularly done as Century Microfinance is to ensure that we have a binding guarantee between ourselves and the uptaker. Guarantee is the one that actually now serves as collateral for all the financing. Guarantee document is a legal record document, and you can actually sue or be sued based on the guarantee that you have issued to somebody. So that is really the collateral that we use at this point in time. With time, we expect to grow to a point where each and every one of these small-scale farmers that reach through the platform can actually become account holders of Century. In that case, of course, there is no customer requirements that we'll need to get from them. The issue now is really becoming the amount of information that you need for know your customer requirements is reduced, because in the market, for example, we have a product called M-Shwari, a M-Pesa platform, where all you require is an ID number, which is unique to every adult in Kenya, and a number. So with such strides in technology, we also feel confident that as long as we're able to identify the small-scale farmer, basic information and data gathered aggregator or the uptaker, then that together with the guarantee that has been provided by the uptaker that they are going to settle on behalf of the farmer is what for us. So in terms of regulation, the environment is sort of been opened up. We just talked about M-Shwari. So it allows us to actually look at several options that we can use, such as the guarantees, as I have said.
There was also, in relation to that, there was also a question mentioned that you have 0 defaults or 100% repayment. This I want to add, or what the participant was asking, who is there been, is it a figure, or has there been some defaults that the aggregator himself has paid, has cut? And then is the guaranteed by the aggregate, do they take full their you as the bank in the aggregator? So if you could speak about that, would be helpful.
Yeah. I think in terms of the repayment record, we've stopped, we've been at this for just about 4 or 5 months. And the reason why the repayment rate is at 100% is because it's guaranteed. This uptake was going to pay the farmer in any event on a certain date. And what we've done is that we have brought forward the payment. And so we know the farmer has produced and has delivered, and the owed by the aggregator. And so this money that is owed by the aggregator to the farmer is going to be received on the farmers who have already been paid. Risk sharing at this particular point in time of the credit risk is being carried here by the financial institution, and the security for that is as I've mentioned earlier. And the other risk is also with the aggregator. For example, the data is not up to date or is not correct. It's possible for them to actually give approvals for delivery that has not come through. So there is an element of risk right there that someone can be paid off in advance. However, mitigation for this is that because we're looking at historical data, farmer is already owed by the aggregator in this particular instance. So what we're doing is we're saying because the farmer has delivered X amount of produce, they do receive however much money from the aggregator, and so we take up the risk at that particular point in time. I've adequately addressed that.
Just to wrap things up, there was a participant that was interested in evidence of increased access to services to farmers. I know you mentioned in your presentation the disaggregated data that you presented, but could you speak to this has helped increase outreach to women?
One of the things that is quite evident is that a lot of the rural small-scale farmers that we're talking about are women. A lot of the subsistence farming that takes place in Kenya is done by women. Historically, these women do not own the land. They do all the work that is, they're the ones who milk the cows, they're the ones who take the deliveries to the day, they're the ones who till the land, they're the ones who take the, say, tea leaves or whatever produce it is that they do, they're the ones who take it. However, in most instances, what we have found is that the person who has been registered, for example, is the landowner. In additional times when you want to take up a supply, say, okay, what's your name and where are you located? So do you own the property? And most times it's the men who have been registered as suppliers. So if they do not do the work, they do not supply, they do not take the days, and when the payments come, because they go straight to bank, they lead to the men folks. So what happened here is that actually now we're working with people who bring physical delivery, ones who bring the produce. Those are the ones that we're working with, and in most cases, these are women. So in a way, it has also with women in the rural areas, because now they're able to get some the deliveries that they have made. A shift there, and I see that more and more we're becoming less reliant on as the main collateral or the main indicator of activity, and so bank side, land is becoming less and less of security. And therefore, for that reason, women are able to access more facilities and they're able to do their farming activity, benefit out of it.
That's fair. Thank you, Pauline. Well, I went over a bit today, but I use Missionary Powers as the facilitator to continue. It's a very rich day. The presentations were excellent, and it's raised a lot of questions. And what we will do with AgriFin is, with the presenters, I'm making a plea, a public plea to our presenters, to try to get in a systematic way answers to the questions we were not able to cover in this session. It was a very robust topic, and there are many, many questions and interest, and you gave a lot to our audience, to the banker audience, to regulars, to us development community. So I'd just like to thank you so much for that. Before ending our webinar, as usual, I think the new platform worked relatively well. With a survey that's showing up in the bottom right-hand corner. If we can get everyone to let us know what they thought about today's webinar. This helps us to improve our quality over the long run, so to provide feedback to our speakers who have so graciously given of their time today. I just let you know about our upcoming webinars. We have next month's webinar from Zanaco Bank in Zambia, Mr. Ephraim Mthleni, that's this unit, and he's going to talk to us about how he is financing the dairy sector in Zambia. And then we'll have the head of the agribusiness unit from Yapi Credit from Turkey. They'll be experience in rolling out a new credit card product for farmers, and that's surely one you won't want to miss. So we look forward to seeing. We'll be sending out those advertisements shortly. As we try our best to, in a structured way, answer remaining questions and post those to you. Post them on our website at www.agrifin.org. I'd like to let you know that we've added new materials, some not-to-miss videos from our annual conference, practitioners talking about how they develop products, how they recruit and retain build robust teams for agri-lending. So those are to be missed. And we have a first out note on climate financing in the climate change context, and that's not to be missed. So one like to wrap up and thank you to both Felix and Pauline for all of your time in preparing this and taking time out in your busy schedules. The lessons were for me personally and provoked a lot more questions, which is always a great sign. So we came off for your time today.
Thank you, Valdetta, for inviting us.
Thank you very much.
Good day.
Thank
You too. Bye-bye.